Hello and welcome. So last week we finished up with the Temple of Sacred Ashes, and then I did a few things, mostly off camera, to prepare for going to Orzammar. So this week is going to be going to Orzammar, and I think I'm also going to quickly go around and talk to all my companions. There will be a stop off at the Soldier's Peak to drop a couple things and also pick up a couple things. Hi, Jory. Just pet the dog. Severin,
What say you?
care to answer some questions?
By all means.
So tell me about your adventures.
My adventures? I'm hardly an old man just returned from across the ocean, am I? Should I shake my fist at nearby children while I talk about the good old days?
Yes, definitely. You certainly talk like you've had adventures.
Falling down a flight of stairs is an adventure. Falling into someone's bed, also an adventure. I am assuming what you're looking for are professional anecdotes. Let's see, my second mission ever for the Crows was a bit intriguing. I was sent to kill a mage who had been meddling in politics.
Meddling in politics? How?
How should I know? I got the impression it involved sex, but then I get that impression about most everything. Odd, really. As it turned out, the mage in question was quite a delightful young woman. Long, divine legs, as I recall. I caught her in a carriage on her way to escape to the provinces. After I killed her guard, she got down on her hands and knees and begged for her life. Rather aptly, I might add. So I joined her in the carriage for the night and left the next morning.
And she didn't try to kill you?
Well, yes, twice, actually. Then she decided to try and use me instead. The woman had actually convinced me to speak to the Crows on her behalf. What can I say? I was young and foolish at the time. Then, as I was kissing her goodbye to return to Antiva City, she slipped on the threshold and fell backwards out of the carriage. Broke her neck. Shame, really, but at least it happened quickly.
Were you upset?
At first, yes. Well, not upset. Surprised is really a better word. Then I found out that she had told the driver to take her to Janellen instead. She had planned to lose me in the provinces. I would have looked very foolish to the Crows. As it was, my master was very impressed that I had done such a fine job of making it look like an accident. The circle of Magi was unaware of foul play, and everyone was happier all around.
It seems kind of... not sure if that'd be soci or psychopathic, but, not really seeing value in human life. These sorts of things happen to you often?
Like being spared by a benevolent mark who then helps me escape from the Crows? Yes, it does seem to happen now and again, doesn't it? It was after that when I learned that one needn't let a pretty face go to your head. Professionalism was key. That's my moral of the day, you see.
A wise lesson to learn.
And one that not everyone learns, I'm sad to say. But that's enough tale spinning from me for the moment. Talking about the mage has made me a bit nostalgic, I'm afraid. Ah, the good old days.
What's on your mind?
As a Grey Warden, I'll never lead a normal life, will I?
No, you won't.
I don't think I was ever meant to be normal. I mean, I was a prince. I mean, being the child of a monarch usually means that you don't have a normal life.
I don't think so either. You would not have been happy living a dull, uneventful life, dying in obscurity. You wonder sometimes, don't you? If your life would be better if you weren't who you are.
guess that's the question, is like, to what extent this character would have accepted or embraced the new life, having gone from being royalty with all the machinations that it's would have had with the Dwarven court, to being a Grey Warden. I mean, in both cases, you could easily... You're unlikely to die of natural causes, but, you know, it's on my mind constantly.
When I was a young woman in the tower, I came to the realization that the circle would be my life, and I would know no other. Family, love, a simple life. These were things that others took for granted, that I would never have.
And this upset you?
It made me very moody. All I could think of was being trapped in that tower with no way out and no end in sight. I started hating my life and myself, and one night I found myself in the tower's chapel. I was seeking refuge, maybe answers.
Did you find anything? I mean, I presume that she did, but...
I must have looked tearful or made some noise, because the revered mother came out and decided to speak to me. And because I had no one else to talk to, I talked to her. I must have said many silly things, but she told me that the Maker puts us all on our paths for a reason, and fighting our intended course is what causes so much anguish.
Pretty sure there are occasions when everything seems to be pointing you in one direction, but it's not one you want. And that made you feel better?
I thought the old biddy was full of rubbish. I was 15, maybe 16, and I knew everything. So I left, but I always found my way back to that chapel. And as the years passed, I began to see the truth of her words. We were supposed to be polar opposites, mage and priest. But we weren't. There was much about us that was the same.
But priests have to choose to be priests. Mages don't.
Not all priests choose their path. Some children are given to the chantry to raise and become initiates. The revered mother had lived in the chantry all her life, as I had been in the tower for all of mine. She taught me that you can find your family in the people around you, that you can love your work and find fulfillment in duty. And there is joy even in self-sacrifice. If you put others before yourself, then their well-being is yours, and their happiness is your happiness.
It's kind of a lot in that last bit. For what I know, that from my research, I've found that, yeah, monasteries did at one point just accept, like, foundling children. And you just, like, donate a child to monastery, but they also found that they must have really found that that didn't always produce very good monks. So they still took in the children, but they had to, after a certain point, they could choose to officially join the monastery or leave it. And just going on to think about, it's kind of like accepting your faith. That sounds kind of like what that this is, like. But there's also a bit of there in, I think, called compersion. I think that's gonna be applied to that. Basically, yeah, taking happiness from someone else's happiness, seeing someone else happy, and being happy for them. It won't be easy to live that way.
You can scream and cry and be angry about life as a Grey Warden, or you can accept it and allow yourself to see the good in it. This is your choice.
I mean, I feel like is given much choice in the matter. I kind of feel like, as we go through the rest of the background of the player starts, which you'll see that most of them didn't really have much of a choice in the matter. Yeah, anyway, hey, Liliana,
Something I can help with?
I'd like to talk to you about something.
Yes? What's on your mind?
I think I've already gone through all her tales, so I'm just gonna go on. Alistair,
Ask away.
I have some questions.
Of course.
Tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
I have no more questions.
About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. Ask away.
Never mind. Okay, nothing to talk with you about. Sten! Do I have anything more to talk with you about?
Yes.
I want to discuss something you mentioned.
Speak, then.
What do you mean about fiends in Saharan?
Ours wear the faces of men.
That's cryptic?
Darkspawn, abominations, plagues, and storms. Men are far more dangerous than these. One moment of betrayal can bring more ruin than an earthquake. You know this.
Does that mean there are no Darkspawn in Saharan?
Darkspawn are not our concern in the islands. Tal Vashoth are. They say they are Grey Ones. True in the knowledge of themselves. They are gaping holes where men used to be. Nothing can fill them.
Don't remember having this conversation with him in previous playthroughs. The amount of hate he holds for them. What do they want?
I don't know. There was a village in the mountains of Saharan. Farmers. They grew cinnamon and nutmeg trees in perfectly ordered rows. There would always be one person waiting, a foreman, a harvester, rank didn't matter. Often they would say nothing. Simply watch as we worked to examine the empty house, a new one each time, that had once been the home of a colleague, a friend. We always made a point of searching. Now and then a body would turn up in a river eaten by rain and crows.
Right.
More often we found nothing. Even in the worst parts of the jungle, the villagers would send someone with us to see the tiniest piece of bone or cloth. Anything contained the possibility of their lost friend. Must we speak of this? We could be fighting something.
I had another question.
Very well.
Why do the Telvishoth fight you?
Isn't it the nature of a wound to bleed? I have no more answers than you. Why do we fight the Darkspawn? Why do the Darkspawn fight us?
Don't the Telvishoth give reasons?
Now and then. Do the reasons matter? It makes little difference to those they fight. Tell me then, why do you fight?
To defend my people.
In the Antam, we are told of the enemy. Assume he loves as you love, hates as you hate, and fights just as hard as you. It's a lie, of course. But does that matter, so long as you stand and believe you know your enemy? The Tal Vashoth wish us dead, and we wish to go on living. The point of our war is war.
I had another question.
Very well.
That's enough for now.
Then I suggest we move on.
Let's go.
As you wish.
Shale, how's it going?
It speaks.
You're still with me, I see.
Its journeys are fascinating. I had thought its chances slim, but perhaps I'm even wrong on that point. Does it wish me to leave? I can, though I see no reason to go.
No, stay. You're quite helpful.
No doubt. Without me, it would have to carry its inventory on its own. Perhaps we should continue. Its chances of success are small enough without further dawdling.
Alright, now let's see if... There's anything new with Morrigan.
Your desire?
I'd like to ask you something.
So, Full of questions, are you?
I think I already asked them. Alright. On we go to the quick stop off to Soldier's Peak. Exchange some things at the storage. And... oh, okay. And then on to Orzammar. Let's see. You?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You.
Yes.
I feel like this is the party that will play best with the Dwarves of Orzammar. One, bring you in a golem will be suitably impressive. Grey Alistair, the Grey Warden, because that's the business I'm here on. It's not just I'm randomly back. And, well, Mage. I don't know to what extent the dwarves would know about the circle, like care about the division between that and the apostates, but you know, need the healer. The healer, whom is an abomination. I also made a blood mage, but anyway.
As you say.
And also noting that I have Alistair dressed in King Palin's armor, so he looks more regal, so that should also help with the reception at Orzammar. Alright. Interrupted? Ox. Tigran, hi.
You have coin, stranger? With Orzammar closed off, old Tegrin can get you a discount. Fine weapon and arms, Dwarven made.
What's going on in Orzammar? This is probably the first news I've heard of it.
There's two things I'm here for. Travel or trade. Understand?
Let's see this discount of yours. Yes? Thanks. And we're off.
As you say.
And here we go. Bounty hunters?
About time.
As you say.
Logate sends it.
Oh, there's a mage.
scratching noises.
Kicked him. I kicked him below the belt while he was down on the ground. That... I'd have honor there. Nice service, dwarf.
Let kings fight over kings. Trade needs to flow.
Surface silks, half price.
Half price, you say? Tornus the deserter. I wonder what he's done.
You have some kind of problem?
I'm here on behalf of the Blackstone Irregulars.
Oh? What was this about?
I hear you stole from the guild.
I worried this might happen. I hoped it wouldn't be you who came for me. I have no choice. Forgive me, Warden, but I cannot go back with you.
Make me wonder how the dialogue would be different if I hadn't accepted both those quests and only had one of them up.
We'll need to fight.
Done with you now.
And no one reacts. Trust chair. Interesting.
How am I supposed to live with no crafts to sell? I'll be ruined. They think they're isolated now? Merchants won't risk this happening again.
Can I interest you in something? I've got the finest selection of previously owned armor and weaponry this side of Val Royale.
Previously owned?
Why pay through the nose for new equipment when you can buy it like new for much, much less?
Where do you get the like new armor from?
Ah, here and there. Look, that's really not important. The important thing is, it's cheap. And just as good as what you'd find at a smithy.
Let me take a look.
Oh, of course. And remember, everything's covered by Farron's 24-hour lifetime guarantee.
24-hour lifetime. Interesting. Alright, that's it.
You heard about the revolt in Oslo? Got put down by the regent, I heard. That's what he'd like you to think, I bet. Well, I wouldn't talk about it too loudly. Look, someone's listening.
Oh, sorry? Oh, I didn't realize there was a tiny sundial in here. Well, so it's probably regular size, just seems kind of small in relation to what's around. Brian! Hi, Brian.
This about the guild? I swear, I didn't tell them anything. I just took the sovereigns.
What? Okay. That? Okay. Okay. Quest I didn't know I had.
I have a question it may be able to answer, Elder Mage.
Must it always be Elder Mage? I'm not a wizened old crone just yet.
Would it prefer Mage well past her prime don't mind the sagging bits?
You have an odd way of requesting answers to your questions.
I'm curious about the abominations of the tower. Is it possible for such a creature to become human again?
Yes, it is simply very difficult. It requires travel into the Fade.
And? Is the mage the same afterwards as the mage was before?
No, I have never met such a person, but no, they are changed forever.
I understand. Thank you for the answer, wise one.
Yes, never met anyone who was an abomination.
How long? Someone get them to tell me how long, because this is ridiculous.
The assembly is deadlocked. No one knows when they'll reopen the city.
Alright.
Oh, you wish to talk to me? Truly, it's a courtesy for one so well-armed to notice a lowly merchant.
Did you lose your caste when you left Orzammar?
It's not your business. But like my father, I was born on the surface. We never had a caste to leave. The assembly says we've turned our back on the stone, but they still use the goods we bring. Hypocrites. Maybe it'll change by the time my children are grown.
How often do you restock in Orzammar?
Twice a year. I'm confined to a trade stall in the commons, but I see enough. It's very closed in. My grandfather says I've lost my stone sense. I was born topside. I don't remember having it.
Never mind, I should go.
Best of luck to you.
Stark the Apprentice.
What can I do for you?
I have a note here from your master.
This ought to be interesting. Such diction. This man is a true scholar and rhetorician. I am honored to be fired by one such as he. Good day.
Dwarf?
I didn't get into this business to sit on my goods.
So clearly you're not selling furniture. Alright.
Demand an audience of you and South all for Elder. King Loghain will not suffer the delay of his appointed messenger.
Vieta, this land is held in trust for the sovereign Dwarven kings. I cannot allow entry at this time.
King Loghain demands the allegiance of the Desher, or lords, or whatever you call them in your assembly. I am his appointed messenger.
I don't care if you're the king's wiper. Orzammar will have none but its own until our throne is settled.
The question is, would I be able to... you know... not reveal who I am well enough that you're not just ask what's happened with my father. Anyway, I have important business in Orzammar.
None more important than mine.
Your business will wait. Orzammar must limit outside influence until the throne is settled. No one gets in.
I was born in Orzammar, let me pass. This is me continuing to attempt to get past them. I mean, there's a possibility they might not recognize me, given as if they've seen me at all, they're used to seeing me in regal attire, and it's been a while since I've had that, though I suppose I do have the royal, noble clothes, which I could put on. I mean, it probably doesn't match his Orlesian nobility, probably wouldn't match the styles of Orzammar nobility, but I was born in Orzammar, let me pass.
Any dwarf who chooses to walk topside chooses to be excluded. Wait, look at me. You're the exile. This begins with you. Sorrow finished what your kinslaying started. Your father is dead.
Kinslayer? Oh, you're not getting in.
How did Endrin die?
Losing two sons, one to murder and one to exile? Who can blame him for seeking peace among the ancestors?
The Assembly has gone through a dozen votes without agreeing on a successor. If it is not settled soon, we risk a civil war.
It is realized that what Loghain's messenger said, it does reveal a fair amount of knowledge about Orzammar. But then again, he might have also been selected because he knows more. you don't want an ambassador who knows nothing about the culture they're going into. The Grey Wardens need their traditional Dwarven allies.
The Wardens killed King Cailan and nearly doomed Ferelden. They're sworn enemies of King Loghain.
Well, that is the Royal Seal. That means only the Assembly is authorized to address it. Grey Warden, you may pass.
What? He's a traitor and a kinslayer. You said it yourself. In the name of King Loghain, I demand that you execute this stain on the honor of Ferelden.
Loghain is not king. He's the regent. His daughter is queen. Run to your false king. The dwarves will not hear him today.
You'll hear of this. King Loghain will see you quartered.
You are free to enter Orzammar, Grey Warden. Though I don't know what help you will find.
Thank you.
Fair journeys, Warden.
How magnificent. These must be the statues of the Dwarven paragons.
Hi.
They say the Darkspawn have left for the surface. For the love of paragons, please, show some pity for a poor old man.
Emont? Orta?
Now that... May the ancestors protect Branka, wherever she is.
Tryst Vala, Warden.
If only you had come at a less troubled time.
Yes.
Hello, Scholar.
Your Highness, you live. We heard what happened. It was an injustice. My master is writing another book about the Idukans. He believes that Prince Balin set you up.
He did set me up.
My master has not forgotten how you defended him from Brunton Volney. May Orzammar be kinder to you than the last time you walked the roads.
Wow, that was a quick exit. Let's see.
So, Sheol, when you were standing there all that time, did you sleep?
I have no need to sleep. My body does not tire or do other flesh-related functions.
But don't you get bored? Wouldn't you want to dream at least?
I do not dream. This is what it does when it sleeps. It paws its nose and mumbles incoherently.
Yes, of course. I thought we all... Huh. You watch me?
I watch all closely when they are still at night. There is little else to do.
For hours and hours?
I count the breaths. It helps to overcome the overwhelming urge to crush their faces while they sleep.
Well, I won't be doing much of that anymore.
Does not sleep, kind of like dwarves. Alright, and in we go. Excuse me.
It is the Assembly who makes a king, and a king who nominates his successor. None of it is carried in the blood.
Or, as now, when someone tries using the Assembly to pull a coup. Who's to say what my father said in his final hours, when the usurper Harrowmont was the only one by his side?
I'll have you thrown in prison.
You've bitten off more than you can chew.
Handlers, separate these dashers in the Diamond Quarter. I will not have Balin incite a riot.
You'll not speak that way about the man who should be king!
Casual murder, part of the reason.
Especially in front of outsiders. I'll have him in the Legion.
Yeah, I think that is an illustration of part of the reason why cities and settlements generally didn't want people, fully armed with weapons and armor. Anyway, Captain of the Guard, hello.
Exile, you were not to show your face here again. I have enough crime to deal with. I shouldn't have to dump you back in the deep roads.
That seems to imply that they've had people exiled reappear in the city before. So. I have a new house, the Grey Wardens.
That's right. You found pity topside. The Warden should have better sense when choosing allies. Surfacers and their cloud-addled heads. Fine, oh illustrious Grey Warden. What do you want?
The Blade is coming. I need Orzammar's assistance.
Surface problems. Well, we have no king to hear you. You can join the shouting at the assembly in the Diamond Quarter if you want. Bunch of Desher lords bickering over sand. Balin, Harrowmont. Is one so different? No paragons here.
Well, I mean, I would know that already, and I'd also know what paragons are, so there's not really a reason for me, for the character to ask this. Sounds like Balin and Harrowmont are the ones to talk to.
They've caged themselves for fear of each other. As you've seen, keeping order down among us working people is dodgy. No place for a proper lord. Balin speaks through his second, Vartag Gavorn, in the Assembly. Lord Harrowmont speaks through Dulan Ferender from his estate.
You mentioned paragons? I know what those are already.
Are you sure you're still a dwarf? Ancestors have patience. If Branka could hear this, well, I wouldn't be standing in dried blood. If you must be our warden, at least know us. Go to the Shaper of Memories in the Shaperate, the true bright spot in the Diamond Quarter.
Can a city function like this?
Blame yourself for that. The deaths in your house brought us here. And still the tavern is open, and the market is busy. Orzammar has suffered worse. The ancestors will see us through.
I should get going?
Yes, you should.
I think... Yeah, I think I'm gonna... stop asking questions that the character would already know the answers to. And, actually kind of roleplay as if I am returning to a city I am very familiar with. Nerath, hello.
You are... By the ancestors! You were exiled into the deep roads. How can you be standing here?
Helmi? Nari Helmi, is that you?
I should hope so. I'd be quite hurt if you didn't recognize me. After all, under different circumstances, we might have been married. But you were supposed to be dead. How is it you live?
Might be a good reason for me not to bring Morrigan to this. The Grey Wardens rescued and recruited me.
Then I hope your return is a good omen. Since your father died, many have begun to wonder if it was Balin's hand behind Trian's death, not yours. Even your father believed that. It's why he appointed Lord Harrowmont as his heir. But enough Deshers support Balin to keep the Assembly in a deadlock. You can see how bad things have gotten.
How did my father die?
In his sleep. Though many whisper those are only sweet words to hide the smell of poison. May the ancestors accept the king among their blessed number.
How much support does Balin have?
Exactly half the assembly. But as you know, that means his numbers are dropping.
I don't. Once the Assembly wished me to rule.
And I'm sure some curse their decision to exile you. But House Idukan stands behind Balin still, and they have stricken your name.
Who has the authority to defend against the Blight?
A blight? Now? But our warriors are killing each other in the streets. Who will lead the battle? How will we survive?
Orzammar settled differences to defeat this threat.
Then may the ancestors guide your efforts. If you seek Lord Harrowmont's support, talk to Duran Ferender. You'll find him in Harrowmont's estate. Tell him who you are, and I'm sure he can get you an audience. I should return home until the streets become safe again.
Now, I think I have played it through as a Dwarven princess. And I don't think there was that kind of encounter. Regular?
I knew I should have stuck to common nugs. Now I've gone and lost them too. I'll never find them the way they skitter. No way I'm going back to that supplier in Dust Town. Guess I'm shutting it down.
Well, I know what nugs are, so I know they are dangerous. If I see any nugs, I'll send them your way.
Good on you, stranger. Only need one to turn this around.
Excuse me, do you have a moment?
Dagna, hello.
Oh, I actually was talking to your companions, or are you from the surface too?
Yes, you could say that.
Oh, wonderful. I've been trying forever to find someone who really knows the surface world. I don't suppose you've heard of something called the Circle?
My companion here is a senior enchanter of the Circle.
Oh, my lady, it's an honor. I've never met an actual mage. Is it true you can manipulate nature's forces with your mind? Like you were born with lyrium in your veins?
Don't let the glamour fool you, child. Wielding magic is a dangerous occupation, and a great responsibility.
Why is a dwarf interested in the Circle?
I've been trying to reach someone there for years. I've sent missives with every caravan, but I never get a reply. I want to know if they would accept me for study.
I'm not sure I'd put it as you're crazy, but yeah, dwarves can't do magic.
I don't want to do magic. No dwarf can cast spells, but I don't see why I shouldn't study it. It would be a valuable exchange. Orzammar would learn of one of the great natural forces of the surface. And the Circle gains direct access to our knowledge of lyrium smithing.
I can bring the Circle your request.
That would be wonderful. My name is Dagna, daughter of Janar of the Smithcasts. Tell them I've already begun reading the Teventer Imperiums for Tikum Kadab, and it's just fascinating. Did you know the Imperial Magister Lords once had genealogies of every human family known to produce a mage child? Oh, I'll go pack my bags right now. I'll be waiting by my father's shop.
I'm not sure if I should be waiting, because it might be a while before I can answer that. I've got other business. But anyway.
Greetings, and welcome to Garen Garrison's luxury goods shop. Wow, there are a lot of you. And I've never seen one of those before. The things they come up with. What was I saying?
Wait, was that an acknowledgement of the golem that's following me around? Are you alright?
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't notice. Most people don't anymore. Or maybe they're too polite to mention it. I had a little incident a few years back. Too much time with the raw lyrium ore, you know. Maybe it was a bad vein. I cut myself and the dust got straight in the blood. Since then, it's been a little hard for me to concentrate. Except when forging. Then I'm straight as an arrow. Best work I've ever seen. Look around the shop. see for yourself.
Aren't dwarves immune? Well, I mean, I probably know that dwarves aren't entirely immune. Thanks, I will. Yes. Nice, but anyway.
The deep roads are home to the Darkspawn now. Oddly, they're supposed to be safer to travel during a blight.
Well, yes. When all the Darkspawn are up on the surface, Chris, deep roads get safer.
Of course.
Nug. Okay, now... Yeah, I'll go to the Diamond Quarter.
As you say.
Recall correctly. Yes.
Higher class of
I
midget
did not
lives
expect
here,
to
I'll
see you
wager.
again. I am afraid you will find Orzammar much changed.
Marty.
My lord, you're back. They told me you were dead.
It's good to see you again, Marty.
I'm flattered you remember, my lord. Perhaps you also remember our night of passion, the evening of your first commission? Or the son we created, who now has his birthright stripped from him because you got yourself exiled.
I would not remember that son, because I can almost guarantee that I did not have any contact with you in between that night and now. Did you say son?
I've had to care for him myself, nurse him, clothe him. I can't work. No one wants to lie with a woman who's used up her fertility on some castless brat. How could you do this to us?
Fertility's used up. Well, I didn't exactly plan to get exiled.
Then help us. Convince your family to take you back. Or at least declare you honorably dead and acknowledge your son. Please, think about what his life will be otherwise.
I'll try. In the meantime, here's some money to live on.
Thank you. I haven't had a solid meal in a week.
Give her 1,000 sovereigns. This is what I was preparing for.
My lord, your generosity shames me. I know now you never forgot us. And I have faith you will do all you can to ensure your son grows up an Idugan.
Yep, that was what the preparations last time were all for.
Questions arise regarding Lord Balin's impending marriage to a castless commoner. Favoritism to the castless suspected.
Interesting. Random weapons rack. Lady Dace?
This has dragged on too long. It's an insult to King Endrin's memory. I hope you'll support Lord Harrowmont.
News of the hour. Does Lord Harrowmont think that Orzammar can hold off the dwarves forever? The Assembly demands an answer.
Orzammar hold off the dwarves forever? What? else is right there. Alright, let's see if we can impress the assembly with the kingly warden, a golem, and a mage. Admittedly, they probably won't be too terribly impressed with me because I don't look very regal anymore, but you know. Power tag. Power tag.
I heard you had returned to his exile. What insult do you mean by coming here?
I'm here as the Grey Warden, not an Aducan.
House Iducan struck your name from its records the day you killed Trian. With Endron gone, Balin must take his throne.
I have a treaty compelling Orzammar to aid against a blight.
I have seen this treaty in the Shaper's libraries, but it is only the king it compels, and your father has unfortunately passed on. If you seek Balin's help, he can only give it from the throne, and only if no one stands in the way of his getting there.
If Balin promises me troops, I'll help him take the throne. Now, so, to reveal, this is the original plan of this playthrough was to see what happens when you help Balin, having the Dwarven royal background. And I also didn't remember the betrayal being quite as bad as it is, or at least this playthrough as it was. I know the last time I had the character swear that she would not kill Trian, could not, and thus they'd been ambushed and killed before they even got there. But yeah, it does seem like it feels like the prince is what you're supposed to play, because there's a bunch of stuff like Marty. You would not have the encounter with Marty at all with the princess, and I'm not sure you'd have the encounter with the fiance either. But anyway, if Balin promises me troops, I'll help him take the throne.
So you really have thrown your lot in with the surface. Very well. As long as you understand Orzammar is Balin's, I will allow you the chance to prove it.
What must I do?
Harrowmont has been buying the votes of every Desher he can turn, but he is running out of promises. Recently, he offered the same estate to both Lady Dace and young Lord Helmy. He hopes the vote will pass before he has to pay up. I have the promissory notes, but they know of my loyalties to Balin. If you, on the other hand, brought them this evidence, they know you have little love for your brother and will believe you. Prove your loyalty, and perhaps you'll get the reunion you desire.
I'll find Lady Dace and Lord Helmy now.
Lady Dace doesn't leave the quarter much, but Lord Helmy's adventurous, likes to spend his time at tapsters in the Commons. Remember, don't tell them you got these papers from me. You learned of them and drew your own conclusions.
Okay.
The Assembly is in session. Enter quietly if you wish to observe.
Yes, that'll be easy with a column and in plate armor. Anyway, on in we go.
Your mind has gone to dust if you think we would pass such a writ. Half our houses would go broke without the service trade.
The proposal is only effective until we have a king to ensure we are respected by the surfacers.
Leaving you conveniently positioned to take over all contracts. I'll see your head on a pike first.
Desher's lords and ladies of the Assembly. I've already doubled the guard to prevent violence. Must I summon more?
Steward Bandalore, Balin's sympathizers are tying our hands with trivialities. They may as well open us to the sky.
I suggest we put the matter to a vote.
And I suggest you have a taste of my family's mace.
Enough! The Assembly is in recess until the members can regain control of their emotions. Stone-forsaken fools and dusters. So it's true. The exile has returned, and we are to treat you as a respected guest.
Do as you wish, Steward Bandalore. You always have.
It's the one perk to this position, child. Or should I call you Warden? I'm glad to hear the surfacers are making use of your talents. Respect for your role is great, but you won't receive a proper hearing until we have a king on the throne.
So who has the authority to aid me?
I must admit, Warden, I am at a loss myself. It lies with Prince Balin or Lord Harrowmont, and they are slow to trust anyone in these uncertain times. I only wish there was more I could do for you.
Hello.
Lord Harrowmont sends his greetings, Exile. He was surprised to see you back here.
I have a treaty obliging Orzammar to aid against a blight.
That may be, and that is a terrible risk for the surface. But even if the world would end tomorrow, Lord Harrowmont cannot ignore Balin today. He cannot afford to trust anyone of unproven loyalties.
I mean, I'd point out the fact that I don't really have any reason to be loyal to my brother, but, you know. How can I prove I'm not working for Balin? That would be a lie. Stop playing games. This treaty compels you to help.
You're asking the King of Orzammar to send armies to the surface, but Orzammar has no king and we have no army. Right now, the men who should be fighting Darkspawn are brawling in the street. If this situation is not resolved, we face civil war. If you want Lord Harrowmont's time now, you'll have to prove you have no intention of turning against him later.
So, you would make the whole world wait?
If you wish to show you have no loyalty to Balin, then work against him in Harrowmont's name. Balin is hosting a proving today, supposedly to honor his father's memory. The Deshers take it very seriously, and unfortunately, Balin found some way to blackmail or intimidate House Harrowmont's best fighters into stepping down.
Do you want me to find out why your fighters dropped out?
That would be enlightening. Though I hope you won't pry too deeply into things they don't wish revealed. If you wish to show your loyalty, enter the proving as his lordship's champion. With your order's reputation, I've no doubt the ancestors would favor your arm. Balin would never work with anyone who humiliated him in that way. Harrowmont would have no fear of meeting with you then.
I don't want to start picking sides. I already have, technically.
Then I'm afraid your only choice is to wait until there's a winner. Lord Harrowmont cannot risk his life working with someone of unproven loyalties. If you change your mind, let me know. The proving is this afternoon, and Lord Harrowmont could certainly use you on his side.
Okay. I'm going to look into the Shaperate.
Of course.
Thief! Who would dare
caretake from the memories. Warden, I'm outraged. A thief in the Shaperate. What have we been reduced to?
Did you get a good look at him?
I did. He was bald, with the most garish brand across his head. Almost like he took pride in being castless. Imagine. He's probably in the slums somewhere. As if he'd find a buyer for a stolen tome in Dust Town. They couldn't know the value.
I'm quite busy. Please do not disturb me.
Are you with that warrior girl who's always here?
Warrior girl? Horta, hello.
Oh, pardon me. Were you looking for a particular volume? Not that I could really help. I, don't know the libraries very well. I'm just doing some research.
What kind of research?
I was looking for something about the Ortan Tig. It was lost during the last Blight, and there aren't many records left. They were a noble house once, descended from the Paragon Ortan, who composed the grand epic of the Seven Brothers and the Ortonic Symphony. My mother's family believes they were descended from Kalana Ortan, who was training in Orzammar when the Tig fell. I'm even named for the house, Orta. Unfortunately, any records would be buried in the Tig's ruins, somewhere in the deep roads.
That was lost during the last Blight. That was only 400 years ago. I thought most of the Dwarven Empire fell during the first Blight. I'm a Grey Warden. I'm not afraid of the deep roads.
A Grey Warden? Mother always said that if anyone could find the Tig, it was the Wardens. I hear Prince Balin and Lord Harrowmont have both been sending out small teams these days. Yes, if you can find the Tig in any records, that could do it. That could prove I'm a noble. If you could. Maybe now that you're looking. It's almost too much to hope.
Don't worry. I will look.
I'm sorry, you'll have to bother someone else with your questions.
I hope you find what you're looking for.
Very well.
As you say.
Hello, Shaper.
When I last walked this hall, Endrin was king and Orzammar was at peace. The memories often speak of the swiftness with which change overtakes us. But it is different to see it firsthand. I apologize, Warden. I should not burden a stranger with such thoughts. I am Zebor, the Shaper of Memories.
I am no stranger to Orzammar, my Lord Shaper.
Your exile is written in the memories, Warden. I am sorry, but Orzammar cannot be your home, nor I your Shaper. We must all obey the Ancestors' rules.
Wait, I thought I was stricken from the memories in the records, so why would the memories have me in them? I'm sorry to disturb you. No, let's talk about Orzammar, Shaper.
Ask, and I shall do my best to answer.
I'd already know all those. I've no more
Your
questions.
presence has been recorded in the memories. I wish you well.
Alright, and that'll be it for this one. Thank you for watching, doing your relevant things with YouTube's buttons, and have a nice day.